Week 1 was fucking sick. It was so goddamn awesome to be back on the couch watching intensity unfold and the rivalries return, and the stands were all full of, like, the fucking messed up fan jerseys. I spent all of Saturday glued to college football between my phone, my laptop, the TV. It shattered my personal screen time record, and you know what? I loved every damn minute of it. Okay, so week 1 of college football just ended, or I mean, it's about to end. I'm recording this on Monday. We've got the TCU North Carolina game coming up tonight. That's a whole separate thing, but we're pretty much all the way through week 1. It was fucking awesome to be back watching the games, being a fan, doing fucking nothing for 12 hours on a Saturday. It was so fucking sick, dude. It was so sick. It felt so fucking good. Now, I don't have the setup to watch every goddamn game, okay? Because I'm not that fucking lucky. I don't have 15 TVs where I can have a bunch of shit going. I got fucking a TV I can get some games on, a laptop I can get some games on, and I gotta use my phone for other stuff, so I don't watch a lot of games on that. So I watch about one game at a time. And I prioritize those games after last season, honestly, had an abysmal gambling season when it came to college football. I got fucked constantly. So we're trying to be a little more conservative this year. I'm going to try to only bet on games that I watch, and I'm going to try to only watch top 25 ranked teams because those are the fucking good teams and I like watching good football. Am I still gonna watch Maction on a Tuesday when nothing else is on? Yeah, obviously, if football's on, I'm gonna watch it. I'm a fucking American. That's what Americans do. We watch football when fucking football's on. And it's fucking awesome. And I was fucking stoked for this Saturday to come up, and we've got the big boy games going on. I mean, Thursday and Friday were nice. They're just little precursors though. That's not what we're looking for. We That's taking a little hit off the dab pen, okay? I wanna eat the full fucking edible, and that's what Saturday is for, college football. I kicked off my weekend, I was like, "I'm gonna sit down, and I'm watching Texas versus Ohio State because that's gonna be a fucking sick game." Were there other good games on? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but Texas versus Ohio State, you're telling me the number 1 ranked team in the nation, Texas with Arch Manning, all that fucking hype, going up against the reigning national champs in Ohio State, seeing how they're gonna bounce back after losing, like, Will Howard and a bunch of those guys. Dude, these guys look fine. Both these teams, their first off, their defense was fucking immaculate. Both teams. I I think it's borderline being understated how good these defenses were. I think people are chalking it up to, like, bad offense. No. These defenses are easily 2 of the top fucking 5, 2 of the top 3 defenses in the league. They were fucking buttoned up. They looked fucking dope. Now, which team was I rooting for? Gets a little okay, so I lived in Austin, Texas for like 5 years, or about an hour from Austin, Texas, at least for 5 years. And I loved the Longhorns. I thought they were great. That being said, I did bet on Ohio State to win this game and thusly was fucking stoked to kick my weekend off with a fucking W. I took them at plus 1.5. Were they plus 1.5 or minus? They were minus 1.5. And I took them at minus 1.5. They had stayed like that for a long time. And this was my whole thought process. I went, oh, I'm just going to fade the line movement. Whatever way the line goes, whether in favor of Texas or favor of Ohio State, I'm going to take the opposite. And the next time I checked the line, it had moved from minus 1.5 for Ohio State, it moved to 0.5, which means it was moving in Texas's favor. And I went, fucking Ohio State right there. That's the analysis I did going into the game. Now, before that, I was like, okay, Arch Manning, his first big-time start in a big-time game on the road against the reigning national champs. That's a tough environment. That's not him going out there to even fucking Texas A&M. That's not him playing Texas State or North Tech, like going on the road to some dinky-dunk, Mississippi A&M type shit. He went and he played a big boy game at a big boy school with some big boy pressure, and he did not look great. He looked like he was fucking things up a lot. His throwing motion and his mechanics seemed a little weird. I heard people saying, and I didn't break down tape like that. Like, I'm just a fucking fan, so I didn't break down the tape like that. But I did hear that he had weird mechanics and shit. And all I can say is look, based on what I saw in that environment, what I saw last year, he's gonna be fucking fine. You know what I mean? A lot of people are worried about Arch, oh, if he's a major letdown. He's not what we thought we were. And it's well, you were expecting him to be fucking Peyton and Eli when they were 12 years into being in the NFL. Fucking be a little realistic. That's not what he's going to be. Okay? Do exactly what fucking a bunch of analysts said. And they were like, oh, if you just take the name off his back and that pressure goes away a little bit, all of a sudden he didn't look that bad. If you just put a little perspective fucking on it. And I'll say that Arch will be fine. Julian Sayin, I think he looked good for Ohio State. He wasn't bad. He was making not anything spectacular. His stats don't jump off the board. But again, we're talking two of the top 5 defenses in the nation, in my opinion, right now. And I think he's going to be good too. I think Ohio State and Texas are both in perfectly fine places. It was almost like betting on the home dog. At this point, you never want to be a home dog, but those are easy favorites, so you fucking take those guys. That's how you look at it as a betting perspective. Sometimes that shit doesn't coil into the numbers. You know what I mean? You can't analytics out of something. It's about the Jimmies and Joes every now and then, and that's all this game was. It was Jimmies and Joes, and I was like, let me fade the line movement. And also I will say this: don't be afraid to fade yourself. Okay, go fade yourself. Is what I have to say. Go fade yourself. If I had faded myself last year, you know how much fucking money I would have made if I just bet against what I thought? I'd have, my winning percentage would be in the fucking 80% if I did that. It would be fucking nuts on my gambling. I'd have so much fucking money, you fucking dumbass. But it was a good ass game. I think it ended 17-10. It was fucking awesome. It was a great game to watch. Great way to kick off college football week 1, and I followed that up watching Alabama versus FSU. And I'll be honest, I bet on Alabama. FSU was bad last year. They were 2-10 or some shit. Alabama wasn't great last year, but they were better than FSU. And then FSU, Florida State, they brought in fucking Castellanos from Boston College. I watched him at Boston College last year. He had fucking one good game. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bet the overall talent of Alabama against the bad team last year in FSU, a quarterback I didn't like, even though they're at home. And I'll tell you this, fucking Florida State rolled tide. Okay? They got fucking stomped. 17-31, I think the final score was. I watched that game. Again, I only bet the games that I watched. I can only watch really one game at a time, so that's what I stick with. Yo, fucking Bama got creamed, dude. Dynasty over. It doesn't hit me as hard because I'm not a long-time college football fan. I'm a long-time football fan. Like the past, I'm 27 now, gonna be 28. So for the past like 14 years or so, somewhere between 12 to 14 years, I've been a massive football fan. Just got into college last year. I don't have a team, so I don't have that driving force behind me to wanting Alabama to lose or to sweet, sweet nectar of them being defeated. I don't have that, but I totally understand the people that do have it. If you've been a long time fan, we're talking 20, 30 years a fan, and you're like, yo, fucking Roll Tide is over. Thank God. Let's focus on someone else for a change. Maybe Auburn can be the best school in the state. It fucking might happen because if they keep going out and playing the most uninspired football I've ever seen out of a highly touted team, they are going to fucking suck. Now, maybe next week they turn it around. Maybe this little loss to Florida State in week one, maybe that's going to be a bit of a wake up call. Like, holy shit, we did not take this seriously. And maybe they'll bounce back. But I don't fucking think that's the case. I think they may be a little washed this year. It's on them to prove everyone wrong at this point. But I just don't fucking see it. I think their head coach, from everything I've heard and read and saw, he's a little in over his skis. So I just don't know, man. I don't know. Alabama's looking a little worried down there. The Big Red, they lost to Florida. I don't know how you lost to Castellanos. I mean, I know some people liked him. I did not. I did not see the appeal at all, but he fucking proved me wrong. I look like a dumb little bitch sitting over here in fucking Northeast Connecticut watching this guy from Boston College, and I was like, yeah, this guy doesn't have it. And then he fucking cooked the team that I bet on. Yeah, fucking smart move on my part, dumbass. But that's how it goes sometimes. You win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some. And I didn't really have any bets going on after the Alabama Florida State game, which was massively disappointing, but that was only the kickoff point for the disappointment for the rest of my day. After that game ended, the next full game that I watched, I jumped in on one or two little things going on, like Mississippi State or something. I don't even remember because I barely paid attention to them. Didn't have any money on the line. I was getting my head ready. I was recovering from the loss that I had at Alabama, and I was trying to get mentally prepped for the purely excellent football that we saw coming out of LSU versus Clemson. The duel for Death Valley, it was, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. My biggest takeaway from that, I didn't bet a winner for this game. Ohio State, like I said, I bet, I think I got it at -1.5. I like that number and that hit. Then I took Bama. Oh my God, I got fucked on Bama. I took them at -14.5 or something like that, -13.5. The dumbest fuck I could possibly be. LSU versus Clemson. I took a lot of time trying to make up my mind, and I just couldn't pick one. I had no idea which way this was going to go. I mean, 85% of Clemson's roster was returning. But God, LSU and Brian Kelly just felt like it was the time for them to like kick it into fucking gear for whatever reason. It felt like, okay, this whole 5-year streak of losing on week one, it just felt like it was over because people were playing on that narrative. And that's how fucking things go. It's kind of like a commentator's curse. Once you start calling something out, that's when it's going to fucking flip. So in hindsight, I wanted to bet LSU, and then I talked my way out of it, and I was like, no, I'm going to bet Clemson. And I ultimately did not side on one or the other. What I ended up betting was fucking what's his name? Cade Klubnik, anytime touchdown scorer. I thought his legs were gonna be a fucking difference maker in this game. I rolled into this game. I was split on my emotions. I had the big win with Ohio. I had the fucking massive kick in the fucking nads with Alabama. And I was like, okay, well, let's fucking bounce back and let's just take an easy one. Klubnik, anytime touchdown. This fucking guy. Oh, I don't know what happened to his legs. And then I took a step back and I watched and thought about it. And I went like, oh yeah, this is what happened. LSU finally showed up with a fucking defense for the first time in like 6 years. And not only that, they are fast as fuck. These guys, I've never seen defensive linemen chase down a quarterback like this. It felt like it just seemed like they were all over him on every play. And obviously that's not the case, but he just had no time to throw. They weren't giving him a fucking inch, not a not a breath of space in between these fucking guys. It was insane how good LSU's defense felt against Clemson, and they got their asses handed to them. It was crazy. I, honest to God, went in, the only expectation was I'm going to have a good time watching this game. This game is going to be excellent. And Klubnik's going to get a touchdown. And the odds weren't even that fucking crazy. It was like plus 100. That's nothing. That's telling you the odds makers are essentially saying this is a guarantee. We're going to give you plus money. You know, just the off chance they run the football with the backs a lot. No, the books are telling you Klubnik's getting a touchdown by putting him at plus 100 because that's how he fucking plays. That's the kind of movement he has. Didn't fucking happen. Didn't fucking happen for a fucking moment. Every time he tried to move around, it felt like he got squashed. I don't even know what his stats were. I'll try and pull them up real quick, but I couldn't believe it when I was fucking when I was watching it. It was insane. If we look at Klubnik rushing, 8 rushes for 1 yard with a long of 7 yards. They bottled that guy the fuck up like I didn't think it was gonna be anything like that. It was insane. And then you go over to fucking LSU and just to compare the two quarterbacks, he got outran by Garrett Nussmeier, who's a fifth-year senior. This guy is not what I would consider to be a mobile quarterback. Yeah, he can move around, but he's no fucking Jalen Milrow or Lamar Jackson. This guy, Garrett Nussmeier, he had 4 carries for 2 yards. He beat Cade Klubnik, who's supposed to be the running quarterback on that field Saturday night. And it was one of the most massively disappointing feelings I had of just being like, Jesus Christ, I'm back to my old ways. I am back to my old ways, picking right where I left off last year with, yeah, I get 1 win, but I get a couple losses to fucking put me down a fucking peg. It was brutal to watch that game and him not get the touchdown. Was the game fun to watch? Incredibly. All of these top 10 matches that I watched, for one reason or another, every single one that happened this weekend, for one reason or another, they were all great games. Like, yeah, Bama and FSU was a little lopsided, a little bit of a blowout. Still great to watch because you're like, holy shit, Alabama's really fucking falling apart. I can't believe these guys are playing as good as they are over here in Florida State. That's insane. And LSU versus Clemson, we knew that was going to be a good game. Just like Texas versus Ohio State, we knew that was going to be a great game, and they both were. And so it was all like fun watching all that stuff. So we were watching LSU versus Clemson, and fucking I just needed something like to tie off the night after 2 big losses in a row. What I thought we're gonna hit. Yeah, we had the one big early win, and that was great, but now I've had 2 big losses. I didn't need to gamble anymore for the day, but God, it was so nice. I went to bed watching I was laying down, and I was like, "Damn, I'm not ready to be asleep yet because I know there's more football on. I know there's more football on, and every game I don't want you can't get the game back. If you don't watch it, you can't get it back." And so what I did, I snagged my laptop, put the Cal versus Oregon State game up on my laptop. Turn the brightness down, not all the way, but just enough where it wasn't gonna keep me awake. And I put it next to my pillow, and I rolled over onto my side, and I just drifted off to sleep thinking about a day well spent while watching California kick the shit out of Oregon State, and it was glorious. It was a perfect ending to a day from a fan perspective. From a gambling perspective, fuck, I got screwed. But from a fan perspective, just someone who loves the sport of football, it was the perfect chef's kiss of an ending that you could possibly imagine. I enjoyed it so very much. It was great. Now comes Sunday morning. Sunday morning was a bit of a big day for me in terms of fandom and in terms of a better, because Virginia Tech was heading over to South Carolina. Now, if you guys have listened to the past couple episodes, South Carolina possesses the one player I have selected preseason and will not change. I will ride or die with this pick, Lenoris Sellers, arguably the best quarterback in the SEC, to win the Heisman. And what, pray tell, did watching Virginia Tech play South Carolina show me? That I'm fucking dead on the money about this fucking guy. People said that South Carolina was overhyped. People said that Virginia Tech was going to keep this game close at the very least. People said Lenoris Sellers was good, but there's no one else good on that team. Motherfuckers were wrong. Okay? The line tells you, the line movement tells you everything. When I first saw the line, I don't know if that's what it opened with, but this is what I first saw it. The line was -7.5 for South Carolina. And when I went to bet it, I got it at -6.5, and I thought it was going to drop further. They didn't think South Carolina was a touchdown better than Virginia Tech. I'll tell you this. Was I betting on Lenoris Sellers to be great? Yes, I was. And he fully delivered 12 of 19 for 209 yards and a touchdown. Not to mention the 13 carries for 25 yards and another touchdown. Now, fan stuff aside, South Carolina's got to fix that offensive line. They got to get that shit together. I think Lenoris got sacked like 4 times. Through 3 of them, I told my buddies, we saw the third one, and I was like, hey, I wanna watch one more. If he gets sacked again, I'm going to really be paying really tight attention to that line, and we're going to find out if it's the offensive line or if Lenoris is holding the ball too long. The very next play, that offensive line, it's like they weren't fucking there. Like the defense just phased through them like they were fucking missed. He got swallowed up so fast, almost got out of it, by the way. Almost got out of it. Lenoris Sellers got swallowed up so fast by that defensive front because the offensive line was non-fucking existent. And it's like, Jesus Christ, yeah. What they say, general rule of thumb, is that to win the Heisman, you need 9 wins. And I'll tell you this, if South Carolina gets to 9 wins playing the way that they played on Sunday, it's because of fucking Lenoris Sellers, which would make him the Heisman. If they get the wins, Lenoris Sellers is going to win the Heisman. He's that good from what I saw. The rest of the team is also just that fucking bad. Except for who is that, Harbor, the receiver, and, oh, fuck, that guy they've got on defense. Shit. I can't remember his name, but he was fucking good on defense. They had that, linebacker who's a fucking stud. I this game, well, I bet South Carolina to win because I'm a fucking ride or die guy. I'm going to bet South Carolina to win every week. I'm gonna bet for them to at least cover the spread. Now, it's all gonna depend on the lines and stuff and who they're playing against, but I am going to bet South Carolina every week. I'm going to watch every South Carolina game. That being said, a large portion of the motivation on this bet was betting against Virginia Tech. I thought Virginia Tech was gonna be bad, and I'll be honest, they're better than I thought. They only scored 11 points. One was a field goal. They got a safety at one point. They only scored 11 points, but this guy, these two Green receivers, Donovan Green and Aiden Green, I don't know if they're fucking related or what. I don't know. They're pretty fucking good, if I'm being honest with you. Everyone else was kind of whatever on this team. Wasn't super impressed with Drones, the quarterback over there at Virginia Tech, but I kind of liked what I saw out of D Green and A Green. Uh, D Green had 3 receptions for 94 yards, and he had a couple where I was like, holy shit, he fucking got us again. While I was watching, I was like, we can't stop this guy. Same thing goes for I don't know if it's his brother's name spelled exactly the same. Aiden Green, 5 receptions for 71 yards. Those guys were good. They played really good. Unfortunately, I felt like it was the only fucking bright spot on their team. Yeah, maybe their defense was getting through the O-line and they were generating some sacks and some pressures. But I think that was more on South Carolina's O-line. I don't think this Virginia Tech team's really good at all outside of those 2 receivers. I mean, they just fucking struggled every fucking down. It was crazy. So, yes, this was a big bet against Virginia Tech based on the line movement. It was a little bit, again, of what I did with Ohio State where I faded the line movement. That being said, I was going to bet South Carolina every way. I'm a big Cox guy this year. Love the Cox this year. But it's just how it goes sometimes. Things work out in your favor. Virginia Tech is bad. South Carolina's good. I wanted to bet South Carolina every way. And then people started to think that Virginia Tech was going to win. So a lot of the money was going that way. I understand how they got there. But fuck you, you were wrong. I was fucking right. I called it. Dude, I was jumping off the couch on some of these touchdowns, some of these long runs. I was like, yeah, that's my fucking guy over there, Lenora Sellers. Heisman. Better fucking watch out. Tim Tebow did it as a sophomore. I'm sure other guys have done it too. But watch out because Lenora Sellers is going to do it as a sophomore too. He's bringing that fucking Heisman to South Carolina, and I don't care what anyone fucking says. Oh, Newsmeyer's the current running favorite for the Heisman Trophy. Nope. Should be Lenora Sellers. He was a fucking stud. Absolute fucking stud against Virginia Tech, and that's not going to change the rest of the season. Now, there was one game left after that. Sunday night, Notre Dame versus Miami. Catholics versus convicts. The line was 3.5, I think, at one point. Moved to 3, moved to 2.5. A lot of people were taking Miami because Notre Dame was the favorite. This was my favorite game of the entire weekend. It was so much fun to watch this rivalry unfold. We were talking number 6 Notre Dame versus number 10 Miami. I took Miami. As an Irishman myself, I didn't go to Notre Dame, but I am an Irish guy. I took Miami minus 2.5, betting on the experience of the quarterback play, and I was fucking right. Okay? Carson Beck went out to Miami this is the story that is crazy of him. He fucking left Georgia, could have declared for the draft, didn't. He had a bit of an off season. Followed his girlfriend down to Miami, cheated on her immediately. She's a twin. She's also very attractive. Cheated on her like immediately. They broke up. And I'll tell you, if this fucking guy Carson Beck, if he was not the starting quarterback of a Division One school, if he wasn't a starting quarterback anywhere, this guy is ugly as fuck. He looks like his creator did not give him emotions. Okay? But he's gonna be great because he's got the Manning forehead. I'll tell you that. That thing is fucking huge. But that dude is ugly. If he was not a starting quarterback, he would be getting 0 girls because it wouldn't make any sense. They wouldn't like looking at him. But I bet on him to go out and beat Notre Dame, and that's exactly what he fucking did. He's the fucking man. Knew it was coming. Now, what's his name? CJ Carr played pretty decent, I would say, for a first time start in a big rivalry game, a game that a lot of people care about. You're on the road in Miami. But man, you're no match for that experience that Carson Beck has. He had that one throw to, oh God, who was it? Oh, CJ Daniels. Dude, that touchdown was fucking insane when I watched that. Carson Beck threw it off the back foot under pressure down the middle of the field. It was like 20, 30 yards. I don't remember exactly how long it was. Um, it had to have been 20 yards, I think. Dude, CJ Daniels jumps up, catches this thing between 2 defenders like OBJ, and came down with a touchdown. They're reviewing it. I was like, you give that goddamn boy a touchdown. He earned that fucking thing. That was an incredible moment. That is when the momentum entirely shifted towards Miami. I think when they caught that, they went up 21-7, and that was going into the second half. Coming back, yeah, they of course they scored the 3 touchdowns in the first half, but it never really felt like Notre Dame was out of it until that last second touchdown, 12 ticks left on the clock in the first half. And they went up 21-7, came back out. They came back out surprisingly flat, I would say. They weren't really performing the way that you would want them to. It kind of felt like they had it won, and credit to Notre Dame, they battled back. They had some excellent plays. They overcame a lot of um, adversity to get to where they were and get back into the game, and I thought that was fucking sick. It made it the best game of the week where they were tied, fucking, what was it, 24-24, and it was awesome. I was like, holy shit, I was about to leave, midway through the fourth quarter. I thought this game was over. They came fucking right back, and I was like, holy shit, we got a fucking game here. Stayed at my buddy's house till like a fucking 11:30. It takes me an hour to get home from there. I watched the whole fucking thing. It was great. Loved the game. Carson Beck's experience is ultimately what made the difference in this game and beat out Notre Dame as a whole. They didn't use their running back, Jeremiah Love, enough. He's projected. A lot of people have him. They like the odds on him to be the Heisman winner. I think he's a great athlete. He's a great player. I don't know why he was being utilized the way he was in the first half. It felt like he wasn't getting enough touches. That's not a recipe for success. You need him. You need him touching the ball. He's your best player, in my opinion. And all in all, capped off a great fucking weekend. Now it's Labor Day on Monday. Didn't have work today. I took my dog to get a haircut and a bath, and now he smells good. He looks good, and we're going to roll in TCU versus North Carolina. And I'll tell you this, I'm off Carolina. I'm off Bill Belichick. I think I like TCU in this game. I haven't decided if I'm going to bet it or not. I don't know if I like it that much. but I am leaning TCU to beat North Carolina. I know that TCU's the favorite. I believe that line has moved since it opened. I think it opened at 3.5. And let's check and see what it is while we're here real fucking quick. Come on, come on, come on. And it's still at 3.5. I think that's appropriate. I think that's right where it needs to be. I don't think it should be moved at all. I 100%. God, I can't say 100%. I wanted to. I like TCU to win. I don't know if I'm gonna bet it or not. I'm not gonna change it if I do bet this. I'm still gonna release the episode on Thursday, and we'll just know that I was fucking wrong. But right now, going into this game, record is 3-2 because I took Miami minus the 2.5 or plus the 2.5. And the only two I got wrong was Bama and Klubnik touchdown. So all in all, pretty good weekend, I would say gambling wise. Great weekend vibes wise. It was so nice to be watching football, be a fan, spend all that too much time. I last night, Sunday night, I'm watching South Carolina and Notre Dame. I think I must have had 12 beers. And here's the thing, I was so locked in on football, I had those 12 beers. I felt completely sober. I was like, "Holy shit," like, nothing was blurry, all my thoughts were clear. I didn't have to write down how I was feeling, I was jumping up off the couch, I saw Lenora Sellers break a sack and run up the sideline for 10, 15 yards. I was jumping up and down for that one. Then they pulled ahead by 2 touchdowns, take the lead to 11-14. South Carolina was my favorite bet of the week, aside from Ohio State, but holy fuck. The Miami game as a whole was just so much better. The classic rivalry feeling that you got from being out there. You had a ton of NFL players from Miami who showed up to that game, Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, bunch of those guys, and it felt like really, just really good to be back. I can't wait to fully cap off the weekend while watching the game tonight, TCU versus North Carolina. I think it's gonna be great. And then next weekend, yeah, we've got week 2 of college football. I can't wait for that. Spend the entire Saturday doing that again. Love it. But then the big dogs come to play. Sunday? Well, actually, not even Sunday. Thursday is when we kick off NFL Week 1. It's going to be great. This episode comes out Thursday morning. We're talking Thursday night. My favorite bet of the week right now, if it still stands, I believe it was yesterday when I checked it. Cowboys versus Philadelphia, -7. Philadelphia -7 against the Cowboys. I'm gonna go bet that right now while I'm recording this. That fucking line is way too good. Are you serious? The Cowboys fucking suck. They're awful. And then they traded Micah Parsons for fucking what, Kent Clark or something like that? Who gives a fuck? It's not going to work. Cowboys suck. -7. You're telling me I've got the option to get a push or a win? I'll fucking take that. Jump on the Eagles. They're going to blow out Dallas. If you are listening to this before that game kicks off, please do that. Outside of that, we're talking just the feeling of being just in the midst of it. Because before you know it, we're going to be into this stretch where football is on every day for like 56 days in a row or something like that. Do you remember when that happened last year? I watched football every day. I watched football so much that I got tired of watching football for like a day, and then I came back to watching football because it's so great. It's so awesome to be back with this. The rivalries are back, the games are back, the crack of the fucking helmets, the pros are back. I can't wait for Sunday night. I'm going to go watch Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills kick the shit out of the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Fuck Lamar Jackson. Fuck the Chiefs. Hate both those guys. I hate the Chiefs way more, but Lamar, you're getting up there mostly because of my friend. He's a fucking Lamar Jackson dick rider and he won't admit it, but that's fine. That's fine. I fucking am so excited for it to be back. So glad that this weekend happened. It was, again, one of the best weekends I've had in recent memory where I just sat and watched football all day. and really soaked it in. I wasn't drinking a ton on Saturday. I was really just watching the games, enjoying it, and being a fan, and it was great, and to the point I don't go to UConn football games because I don't think they're worth it. They're cheap, but UConn, let's not sit here and pretend like you guys are good at football. You are the closest school to me, and when you guys go and play, I don't know, fucking URI, maybe we'll go check that out, but got got me wanting to go to some football games. Oh my god, especially when we get into October. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that when the leaves are falling and we get that crisp apple cider football weather going on. Oh my god, you gotta wear a sweatshirt and then you put your jersey on over the sweatshirt and you're drinking beer with a winter hat and your gloves and it's fucking sick as fuck. Oh my god, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be the fucking best. Cannot wait for it to come up, but god damn, we are in the fucking thick of it. We are in the thick of it. Can't wait for these next few months. It's gonna be fucking awesome.